Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This is Troy from Cichlid Bros. In today's video, we're going to be walking through a care guide on the Oscar cichlid. They're one of the most popular fish in this hobby for good reason, but there are a lot of things you need to consider before you buy one, or if you already have one, for the near future. We hope you enjoy the content, and let's dive right in. One of the first things you'll notice about the Oscar cichlids are their personalities. Most people will say they are one of the most personable fish in the aquarium hobby and that they truly seem to know you. They are sometimes called water puppies or wet pets as they have so much personality. They can even sulk and act mad sometimes. I know mine does whenever I rearrange decor or do a water change. Because they have such great interactions with their owners, it's really easy to see one at a pet store and want to buy it on the spot. They are also widely available at big box stores and local fish stores. They have great color even at a young age, and there are many different varieties. The most common is a tiger Oscar, which I have here in my 180-gallon aquarium. There's also red and albino Oscars, which are fairly common. And there's even variations of lemon Oscars or longfin varieties. There are a few major considerations you should keep in mind when buying an Oscar, or if you just bought one, you may need to think a little bit more about it. First is that Oscars get huge and they grow extremely fast. Oscars grow over a foot long, most easily reaching 12 to 14 inches, and I've heard of some that can get even larger than that in the right situation. They are also thick in terms of width and are relatively tall fish as well. The growth rate on these guys are awesome. I got my Oscar here named Nessie, who was named after viewers of this channel commenting down below. I got him about 5 months ago and at no more than an inch long, and he's already more than 5 inches now. Oscars can grow more than 8 inches in their first year alone. This is both awesome to watch, which is why I bought a small one since I wanted to watch that growth, but it can also lead to issues for new fish keepers. Someone that doesn't know better could see a cute, tiny little Oscar at their pet store and think it could fit into a 10 or 20 gallon tank. That will be a huge issue in less than a month or two. Oscars do not grow to the size of their tank. Although their growth may be stunted, Oscars will keep growing and busting out of a tank that size in no time. Do the right thing and get a large tank if you're going to keep an Oscar. When it comes to tank size, this can get a bit controversial, but personally, I wouldn't keep an adult Oscar in anything less than a 75-gallon tank, and actually the bigger the better. If you think about a 14-inch fish trying to swim or turn around in anything like a 55-gallon or below, a 55-gallon is 13 inches front to back, that Oscar would not have room to turn around. I've seen it done in a smaller tank like a 55-gallon, and if it's working for you and you have a healthy Oscar, then that's great, but I just wouldn't personally recommend it. I think a 75-gallon is a good size to start with, but a 125-gallon tank or larger is the ideal tank size, especially if it's more than one Oscar or if you have other tank mates along with them. Because of the fast growth and the size of these guys, and with beginner fish keepers not knowing any better, it leads to Oscars being often mistreated in this hobby. If you're keeping or want to keep an Oscar, make sure you have a large enough tank and you'll be rewarded with an awesome, healthy Oscar. When it comes to aggression, it really depends on the individual Oscar in my opinion. I have seen completely docile Oscars and then some that are very mean. Mostly though, I would bucket them as semi-aggressive. Oscars are South American cichlids, so they will do well in softer water and lower pH, but they will also do fine in slightly higher pH and water hardness as long as you keep parameters consistent and that your ammonia and nitrite remain 0 and your nitrates remain low. This means regular maintenance and water changes are required. Also, a heater will likely be needed as they do best with temps in the upper 70s. They are known to get hole in the head disease if their nitrates in their tank remain high for a long duration, so just keep an eye out for that. They are a very hardy fish though, so they can handle some mistakes by fish keepers, but you'll just want to try and provide the best possible home for your Oscar. When it comes to tank mates, A lot of people say that whatever fits into your Oscar's mouth will eventually become food, and well, that's usually true. If you buy a tiny Oscar at the same size as other cichlids or tank mates, you could run into problems in just a few months as the Oscar will outgrow everything else in the tank. I let my South American cichlids such as the Severums, Geophagus, electrical acaras here all grow out for almost 2 years before even introducing Nessie. If you give your other tank mates a head start in growth and they're a decent size, I do think Geos and Acaras can be good tank mates. Severums might be my favorite tank mate for Oscars, but other medium to large fish will likely work best, assuming your tank is big enough. More aggressive types like your green terrors, your Jack Dempseys, or jaguars can usually do okay together. Chocolate cichlids, some vieja, some of your larger plecos, especially common plecos, and some catfish will also work just fine. Most of these medium-sized options do well because they aren't small enough to be eaten, and they can also hold their own in a tank with an Oscar for the most part. There's a lot of great tanks out there with arowanas, so that's an option with an appropriately sized tank, so very, very large. Also, smaller tetras and barbs are probably best to stay away from as they might become a snack. Silver dollars or tinfoil barbs could be a great tank mate if you want some more activity in your tank, as those fish will swim back and forth. African cichlids aren't recommended to be mixed with an Oscar, but in some cases it could work. When it comes to feeding, Oscars will eat almost anything you put in the tank and will probably beg you for food constantly. High quality flakes and pellets are great for a young Oscar, while larger pellets, sticks, freeze-dried krill, and frozen foods can be good for adults. Prepared food like shrimp and other frozen foods is a great treat for Oscars, maybe once or twice per week. Oscars are messy eaters and will produce a ton of waste, so make sure you keep up with your water changes and ensure you have adequate filtration. I would recommend against feeder fish since they can easily bring disease into your tank and transfer that to your Oscar, or your Oscar could injure itself chasing the feeders around the tank. It's just not something I would personally recommend. When it comes to tank setup, just know that your Oscar will rearrange your tank however they want it. Stacks of rocks could easily be knocked over, so be careful there. Live or even fake plants can and will be uprooted if they aren't weighted down very well. If I were setting up an Oscar tank from scratch, I would do a few rocks or a few heavy pieces of driftwood that can't be moved around too much. I have some fake plants in my 180 gallon here that have weighted bottoms, but we'll see how long they last. I prefer sand for more of that natural look, but Oscars can do just fine with a bare bottom tank or gravel as well. Overall, Oscars are one of the most amazing fish to keep, and as long as you consider things like tank size and tank mates, they can be one of the best options out there in the hobby. If you'd like to see the video when we first picked up our Oscar Nessie, check out the video right here. Or if you'd like to see the video that YouTube's recommending you would like, check out this one here. Thanks again for watching, everyone. We'll see you next week.